Nobody indeed. What is good? Welcome into Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. We've got a fantastic show for you today. Look at my man, Big Brad Betts. How was your weekend, buddy?
Good weekend. Lot to look forward to. We're going through a transition in the football world. We got international play starting here in a few days. You've got the Club World Cup coming up next weekend. MLS, a few matches trickling in. A lot of second division football. Lots of tough stuff in our world. Excited to talk about college baseball.
You want to talk about tough stuff? My man, I'm going to show you some stats here in a second. This is the craziest regionals I've ever seen. Okay, so we'll jump into the show in a second. All right, so on Mondays, right, like with tournament baseball, it's double elimination, right, over the weekend. And Monday is the spillover day. Right, like if you had going into the championship game, and the team that's 2-0 gets upset, you go into Monday because you have to beat them twice, double elimination, right, bro? Usually we have one, maybe two of those games every year. We have 6. It's insane. I've never seen 6 before on Monday. Absolutely insane, dude. The number 1 seed overall, gone. The number 2 seed overall, gone. All right. 4 number 1s. All right. Think of it like March Madness. All right. Your number 1 seeds, all of them are gone. It's insanity, dude. I'm going to show you some even more numbers. Absolutely crazy. Arkansas Little Rock beat LSU last night. Obscenity, man. All right, let's jump into it because I want to talk about it. All right, so before we look forward, as always, we have to look back. Here we go. 2-2, and we also had a Manny Machado home run at plus 300. So that one's certainly nice. Clemson, Kentucky. My God, how many runs did they end up scoring? 20. Mississippi State, Southern Miss. Both of those money lines. Look at the state of Mississippi stand up right there. Northeastern Mississippi State over 12 did not get there. Clemson money line, Texas money line plus 130 did not get there as well. But yeah, 2-2 again. Haven't had a losing day, right? So take that one. All right, now Howie Schwab crew play of the day. Like I said, we have 6 regional championships today, and here are where we're going. All right, crew, you pick it. North Carolina, Oklahoma over 12.5. Wake Forest, Tennessee over 13.5. USC or Oregon State. Try to say it like Jesse Ventura. Oregon State over 13.5. That was awful. I apologize for that to start your Monday there. And then Miami and Southern Miss over 13. Okay. Polls in the chat. Vote now. We'll update as we always do at the end of the show. Okay. So let's get into our picks first. All right, and then we're going to talk college baseball. We're going to talk some soccer, and we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. Sound good to you, buddy?
Absolutely.
There we go. All right, go ahead and let it rip, buddy. What you got?
We're headed to the second flight of Finnish football. That is Finland, the Ykkönen, the Ykkösliiga. That's YKKOSLIIGA is where and how you're going to find it in your book. This is a matchup between TPS and EIF. We're taking the over 3 Asian total at minus 130, 3 goals for that push. This is a matchup between 2 teams who like to score as well as like to concede and like to do it when they play one another. Both teams are trending like crazy. TPS specifically, 16 of the last 17 at home they've scored, and 9 straight matches this season, and 9 straight versus EIF with 8 straight at home. So scoring not only regularly, but in the league and against this opponent. They're also conceding. They've now conceded in 77% of their last 22. Then you look at the opponent's end, EIF. They've also scored in every single match this season. That's all 9 of 9. And they've scored in 9 of 10 versus TPS. They've scored multiple, but they're also a conceding team as well. They've conceded in 84% of their last 25 and 17 of the last 19 in the league. That is 90%. So both teams scoring and conceding, they're both hitting that over. And when they play one another, both teams' scores come in 90% of their last 9. including 5 of 6 with TPS at home. We've been saying that this entire time. Over 2.5 and 5 of 6 with 3 of 4 at TPS at home. And 5 of 6 of those over 2.5s hit over 3.5. So we're looking for that over 3 today at minus 130.
Minus 130, looking for the chewing. Look, hey, shout out. All right, you said TPS, but shout out to TPX. They made a hell of a baseball bat. All right, when we were younger. Yeah, dude, TPXs were, that was the gold standard, man. And then, obviously, more companies started to get into it. D. Marini took over there for a while, but TPX, dude, that was the OG, man. Well done on that one. All right, 3 plays for me. And again, we'll be live today at 3 p.m. Eastern normal time for Driving the Nightline. So I want to look at some team totals, and I want to look at manipulating a few lines, but can't do it right now because obviously the books don't give it to us. So there we go. All right. North Carolina, Oklahoma, over 12.5. Look at Randall Mims in the chat. My man already, all right, knocking out 40 grand shipments, all right, of lumber this morning. My man Randall crushing it already. Well done to my boy right there. All right. So North Carolina, Oklahoma over 12.5. Ole Miss money line, Oregon State money line plus 100. Wake Forest, Tennessee over 13.5. So let me explain real quick why. Brad, so in baseball, at any level, all right, they have a position called a pitcher, right? Stands on a mound, 60 feet, 6 inches away. All right. And he throws a baseball towards the catcher, towards the hitter. So with that explanation being said, none of these teams have pitching. None of them. And here's the problem. All right. So what was once considered good on Friday, all right, and let me pull the screen up just a little bit here. What was considered good on Friday was if you started out well and your starting pitcher went long in the game so that you didn't have to use your bullpen, right? You could save it for the weekend. Excellent job, right? Teams did that. North Carolina was the absolute best at doing that on Friday, okay? Tennessee with Liam Doyle, right? Here's the problem. And Andrew White asks it right here. Who's pitching for Tennessee? I don't know. Brad? Like, that's the problem, is that if your starter went long on Friday, that's great. If you close it out on Sunday, if you don't, you're in a lot of trouble. All right. And that's where all of these teams find themselves. So do not know right now full pitching lineups because the teams don't know. Okay. So let me explain that with Tennessee and what I believe, and a birdie tells me that Tennessee might do. Okay, because you're stuck at innings. Your starting pitcher that went long on Friday, that's only 2 days rest. Not good. You can't get him out there and throw 105 pitches because you'll burn his arm off. All right. So Tennessee, just for an example, and all of these teams are going to have to do something like this. Tennessee likely will start a guy named A.J. Russell, all right, or the equivalent, who is now in your middle to back end relief. Try to get as many innings as you can. Then bring in their closer named Loy to throw significant innings in the middle of the game. And they'll use Liam Doyle as their closer, hoping that they have a lead. All right, now, you're playing it by hand. Yesterday, Tennessee against Wake Forest, yeah, they had a bullpen game, meaning their closer started the game, all right, and then they had this dude Arvidsson, who's a stud in the bullpen. He threw 105 pitches. Yeah, Tennessee starter yesterday, that was his first start ever. That's what I'm saying. And all of these teams are facing this exact same issue. Ole Miss, all right, their stud pitcher, Hunter Elliott, okay, one of the best pitchers in the country. Ole Miss didn't start them on Friday. They went with the move of we're going to start our number 2, and then we'll start our number 1 on Saturday. Okay, that's cool. Well, you lost game 1. All right. Well, your stud, Hunter Elliott, he won you on game 2 on Saturday. He's on 1-day rest, so you can't throw him. I'm telling you, all these teams completely out of pitching. It's going to get wild. Now, I'm not saying that means take all the overs. I'm not saying that. But it's going to be insanity today. And we'll talk more about it at 3 p.m. Eastern. And I want to get to the schedule because we have 6 games. All right. North Carolina, Oklahoma starts at 2 o'clock. All right. And then we have 3 games at 2 o'clock Central. Apologies. All right. Then we have 3 games at 5 o'clock Central. And then we have 2 games at 8 o'clock tonight Central. All right. So those are the plays, and we'll get back to those. But I want to break down more of college baseball, all right, of what I'm talking about. Because like I said, this is the craziest regional I've ever seen. Your 4 number 1 seeds are gone, and they were playing at home. This isn't even March Madness where both teams are on the road. They're gone, all right? Let me give you a stat right here. Normally, okay, so how the regionals work is you have 64 teams, like college basketball, like March Madness, right? So it's broken down into the pods of the top 16 seeds, all right? Your 1-1-1-1 seeds, 2-2-2-2, 3-3-3, 4-4-4-4, right? They all host, all right? They're called the national seeds, okay? They host these regionals. All right, well, here's a stat for you. All right, national seeds that reached super regionals, i.e., national seeds that won the regional. Okay. Last year, 10 of 16. 2023, 9 of 16. 2022, 11, 11, 12, 8. You can see it right there. You know how many we have today? Right now as we sit? 5. 5. It's insane. It's the craziest regional I've ever seen. And I'll say this. People harp on the NIL era and the transfer portal, and rightfully so. There are problems beyond with a lot of what the NCAA does. But if you wanted parity, your ass got it. All right? You got it. And parity's good for sports. You know what I mean? So it's absolute insanity. This was already the hardest sport on planet Earth to bet. And now it's just gone applesauce brain. All right. So, like I said, we have 5 sitting there. All of your 1 seeds are gone. Imagine in March Madness if you got to look, we're not even at the Sweet 16 yet. And all your 1 seeds are gone. All of them. It's craziness. All right. So let's set up what we're looking at right here. Okay. And I'll pull this full screen. All right. Made this lovely graphic last night with the Mims man himself, Randall Mims. All right, so this is a look at super regionals, okay? We're not there yet. Starts this weekend, but I want to have everyone get an idea, all right? The super regionals are essentially the Sweet 16, okay? You have 8 super regional hosts that win their regional, all right? Now, so here's where we sit, and this is in your brackets, top left to bottom, top right to bottom. All right, the winner of these super regionals this weekend make it to the College World Series, and these are best of 3 series. Okay, so the first one, Vanderbilt, gone. Your number 1 overall seed, gone. Didn't even make it to the regional final. The first time ever that a 1 seed hasn't done that. So we've got Miami and Southern Miss playing today. All right, if Miami wins, Louisville will host the Super Regional. If Southern Miss wins, Southern Miss will host the Super Regional and play Louisville this weekend for a best of 3 series, right? Best 2 of 3. All right, next one. Florida State handled business, won every game in the regionals, okay? They will host regardless. We've got Oregon State and USC today. All right, whoever wins will go to Tallahassee and face Florida State in the Super Regional. Next, Arizona Okay. We've got North Carolina and Oklahoma facing off today. Whoever wins will host the Super Regional. Arizona will either play Oklahoma or at North Carolina. All right. And then we've got Coastal Carolina at Auburn. This one's locked in. It's set. Okay. So Coastal Carolina will be going to Auburn. Auburn will host that Super Regional this weekend. UTSA, we talked about it. In-state teams, Texas, gone. UTSA handles business. They will be at UCLA. UCLA will host the Super Regional. All right. We've got Duke, who made it through. Look at Duke. All right. In the Super Regional. We've got Ole Miss and Murray State playing today. If Ole Miss wins, Duke will play the Super Regional at Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi. If Murray State wins, Murray State will play the Super Regional at Duke. Okay. So then we've got West Virginia. They're locked in. All right. And we've got LSU and Arkansas Little Rock, who beat LSU at LSU last night. Okay. So if LSU wins today, West Virginia will go to Baton Rouge. LSU will host the Super Regional. If Arkansas Little Rock knocks out LSU, which will be insanity, all right, West Virginia will host the Super Regional, and Arkansas Little Rock will go to West Virginia. And then finally, we've got Arkansas, who's locked in to host the Super Regional. Doesn't matter who wins. If Tennessee beats Wake Forest, Tennessee will play at Arkansas in the Super Regional. If Wake Forest wins, they will play at Arkansas in the Super Regional. So I wanted to get that out there. And again, all right, we've got after tonight, we'll have 16 teams left. All right, 8 Super Regionals. And then whoever wins those best of 2 or 3 series this weekend, those 8 teams will go to the College World Series. And the bracket plays out just like this, just as you see it. Okay, so let's just use this as an example. All right, let's say Louisville, Florida State, Arizona, and Auburn all win. Well, that's the bracket on the left side of the College World Series. On the right side, same deal. Okay. And then they will knock each other out, right, until we get 2 teams that are left. College World Series is double elimination. And then you will have 8 teams battle. 1 team will emerge from the left side of the bracket. 1 team will emerge from the right side of the bracket and play in the College World Series final, which is a best of 2 of 3. But we'll get there. We got plenty of time. All right, so I just wanted to lay that out. That's how we are looking. Lily Martin. Hey there. How are you doing? Are you new to this game? I am not. Are you reading my chats? I am. Lily, good to see you. All right. So let's jump into it. So these are the games that we have today. Okay. 3 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma. Home team against North Carolina, even though it's played at North Carolina. All right. That is at 3 p.m. Eastern today. USC at Oregon State. Oregon State, the home team, 6 p.m. Eastern today. All right. Murray State against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, the home team, 6 p.m. Eastern today. Wake Forest at Tennessee. Tennessee, the home team, 6 p.m. Eastern today. My man, Zach, Chelsea said, what up, bro? What up, bro? Chelsea, good to hear from you. Glad you're doing well. Tonight, we got 2 night games. LSU is the away team. Little Rock, the home team, 9 p.m. Eastern in Baton Rouge. And then we've got Miami against Southern Miss. Southern Miss, the home team, 9 p.m. Eastern as well. So that's what we've got. Buddy, it's absolute madness, man. Absolute freaking madness. Okay. So that is college baseball. Now, I want to pause there before we get into Major League Baseball. Talk to us about soccer. I see Brazil on that board back there. It's full. What do we need to know today, buddy?
Well, AB, you talk about madness, and in the footballing world, the soccer world, we're going through madness right now. It's a transition period. Big European clubs ending, finishing. All those top players are then going to funnel into their either international squads playing coming up in these massive tournaments, Nations League, some of these really important fixtures, or some of them are going to stay with their clubs for those that are actually in the Club World Cup tournament upcoming. So this week, you're going to see a few international matches midweek, and you're also going to see a lot of lower division football because lower division football is typically unaffected by the international slate. A lot of those players will not make those squads. So typically those leagues will just kind of keep going if it is their season. One of those leagues is Brazil, both Serie A Brazil, which is not Italian football, but it is South American football in Brazil, Serie A and Serie B. Both of these leagues are incredibly low scoring. We often talk about how high scoring leagues are, and the ones that I like to highlight because those are more fun. I like to bet goals. It's just a little bit of a facet, and I have built a model around that. However, we also need to talk about low scoring leagues because there's still an advantage there with teams being able to score, put on the brakes, and it's just a type of football that you don't necessarily see all over the world, but in South America, you kind of get this type of football, and you can see it in the numbers. Total throughout the entire season, both Brazil A and B are under 50% in the over 2.5 and both teams to score market. But the difference between 2 goals and 3 goals is very, very slim. You can see that on the season, around 68, 64% respectively will get to 2 goals, but then 35% and 40 will get to that 3 goals. So right in between both teams to score over 2.5 goals. So if you're going to be betting these leagues, no, it's not necessarily a total goal league. You're not going to find a lot of high scoring matches. Nobody's going to blow out one another. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals tend to trend together. But when you really look at these leagues lately, there's some interesting figures to notate. One is kind of going one way and the other is kind of going the other way, but also they're still treading right in place. You've got both teams to score in Serie A that is down huge from 43% to 28. Just 1 in 4 are hitting the both teams to score. Just 1 in 5 are hitting over 2.5 goals. So horrible. 5 of the last 25 in Brazil Serie A. And over 2.5 and 62%. So sometimes it's getting to that 2-goal mark, but not getting there. And really, that over market is going to sit right at 2. You'll get about a 2.25. So an Asian total of 2.25, which means if 2 goals hit, half of your bet splits. So it's a very confusing league. If you're trying to bet goals, the market is very, very efficient when it comes to pricing these numbers. And these are a few of the matches that you're going to see. So instead of just attacking it gung-ho, maybe look for something live. If somebody scores early, maybe take a live under. If somebody doesn't score and it gets to maybe the second half, maybe look at an over. Have you ever got into Brazil Serie A and wanted to bet goals and it's late in the game and there's no goals? Well, one figure that you might be very interested in is the market from 0 goals to 1 goal. If it's 0 goals in Brazil, it has a 96% chance to get to 1 goal. So maybe late in the game in these leagues, look to attack 1 goal, look to attack the under early if it's quick scoring, or look to attack maybe a team total if it's a big time favorite because you know 1 goal might be coming. And in Brazil, it's very tricky, but if you have all the figures, you can find some other ways to make money. Those are my final Brazil thoughts.
Well done, buddy. Sorry, you had a special guest that wanted to come by and say hello, Harley. He was fired up with them soccer picks, boy. All right, there you go. All right, well done, man. He really did. Came all the way down. I was like, dude, I got to hear Brad. I got to hear what my man is talking about. Now he's going to run off, go get a treat. All right, so well done, buddy. Let's hit our picks one more time for anybody who may have came in a touch late. Start us off. What you got?
We're headed to that second division of Finnish football, the Jykkosliiga, or Jykkosliiga, Ykkosliiga, and it's actually coming up here in 1 hour. We're taking the over 3 Asian total at minus 130.
Beautiful. All right, I'm on North Carolina, Oklahoma over 12.5. Ole Miss money line, Oregon State money line plus 100. And then Wake Forest and Tennessee over 13.5. And we'll have team totals and other plays at 3 p.m. Eastern today on Driving the Line. If you could, hit the like button for a dog if you like good boys, all right? If you're watching on your phone, grab the screen, pull it down, hit like, pop it right back up. All right. Brad, let's get into our favorite game of the day. Home runs. Here's what we got. Now, it's a very small slate in Major League Baseball. Not many games, okay? Here's who we have. Let me pull the chat down. Brent Rooker, plus 300. Pete Alonso, plus 350. Freddie Freeman, plus 375. Rafael Devers of the Red Sox, plus 400. Matt Chapman, plus 450. All right, Bradley, throw it over to you first, buddy. Where are we going?
Oof. Oh, man. This is a tough one for me today. I don't have a gut feeling. So,
it's hard, dude. It's hard.
Give me Frederick. I think in a downtime, that man has such a smooth stroke that if you hang anything for that guy, he can absolutely pop it off. And AB, just wanted to quickly mention to Spell Dog, if that pick is now at a 3.25, there's really two ways you can attack it. You can either attack half of your bet first, so you can kind of play with that 3.25, which gives you half on a half over 3 and a half on 3.5. And then live, you can drop in on either a 2.5 or the 3. And then 3/4 of your bet are at that over 3 and just 1/4 at the 3.25. Or you can take the over 2.5, eat the juice, and try to wait live and drop your other bet lower. And then those two bets together increase your probability odds significantly. So those are two ways. It's called a bet and buy the dip and look to do it live.
Betting by the, say that again.
I call it, I guess, like, I don't really know if there's a term, but I've kind of coined it as like bet and buy the dip. So you place a bet pre-match, but then you place the other half of your bet as it goes on, and then it increases your probability. Because soccer, if no goals are scored and you're in the over market, well, guess what's happening every second of the match? That line's coming down. So wait maybe a little bit. And that's why we always look at first half goals, how quickly teams score, because it's very, very important on, do I want to come in early in this match? Do I want to come in at a better line?
Beautiful. Well done. That's got to be a t-shirt as well. Got to be. Andrew says, AB, I have a boost for hits, runs, and RBIs at DraftKings. Who we rolling with? 1 second, buddy. We're going to knock that out. Now, Liddy is with you going on the Dodgers play. You're on Freeman. He's going Max Muncy here. I'm going Pete Alonso, plus 350. All right, same game. All right, Mets and the Dodgers. Going to be a really fun series for sure. We'll do that. We'll go same game. All right, you got Freddie Freeman. All right, 375. I've got Pete Alonso plus 350. But I do like all of these guys. Matt Chapman at 450 is nice. But let's go same game. Let's have some fun tonight, man. All right, so you've got Freeman. I've got Pete Alonso. Okay.
I mean, that's some kind of saddle up hoss, isn't it? In some way. We haven't had one of those in a while.
We haven't. I love it. All right. We'll play for 5. Yeah. Let it rip. We'll play for 5 DTL memberships. All right. Now, if nobody hits one, that's the tough part. If no one hits one, we will play 4. And we already love the Butterfinger family. Remember these? Gushers. Nobody hits one. Yeah, we'll keep the bet up. We'll double or nothing, and then we'll also throw in a bag of Gushers for somebody. I'll mail you a bag of Gushers. We'll figure that one out. All right, so that is home runs. Let's take a look at weather. Okay, yeah, Ben's got it. All right, if nobody hits, then we both 0-5. See, dude, Ben's got it. Got it down, boy. Matty Boy said Gusher. Matty Boy, I saw your comment earlier. You failed your company's cyber phishing test. That's funny, man. All right, let's get into weather here. Major League Baseball. Again, not a whole lot. Rockies and the Marlins. All right. if you're betting this game or betting props on this game, okay, here's what to understand. Temperature, basically 80 degrees. Feels like mid 80s. You have humidity at a ridiculous rate today, but you've got precipitation. That's why you've got rain. All right. Might drop, might not. If it doesn't, you could have home runs everywhere. Here's also the problem. It's the Rockies and the Marlins. All right. I mean, you could play this game on Saturn, and I don't know if anybody's putting one out. I don't know the gravity levels of Saturn. I guess we should have said the moon, right? But dear God, I mean, one of these teams, somebody's going to have to score one run. So there you go. Twins and the A's. Now, again, yeah, and Kirk says it's retractable. Yes. So if it rains, you don't have to worry about it. But you will have the humidity. But you still got those two damn teams. I don't know what they're going to do. Twins and the A's. Look, temperature, low 80s, feels like high 70s, dropping quickly. However, wind blowing out, minor league park, but it's the Twins and the A's. I mean, both these teams can go off, but both of them cannot. But Brent Rooker is very live to hit a home run. Very live to hit a bomb today. Z-Buddy says, Tizzle shared that Scotty Scheffler has as many wins in May as the Rockies. My God. That's insane. That's a great. Yeah, dude, that's just crazy. And then the last game that we have in terms of weather. Yeah, Todd Soderstrom as well. Kirk, good point. Soderstrom for the A's, very much live to hit a home bomb. Yeah, Andrew White. Look, Rooker would be my guy. Now, we'll look at the numbers here in a second. Millsy said, this is a good question. All right, so Miami game is in a dome, but the humidity can still affect runs, right? Humidity, yeah, absolutely, right? Like, we see the same thing in Houston, to where if you've got that retractable roof closed, it's still warm. Now, you cut a lot of that out, but you still have it there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as much, obviously. TJ Parker said Jacob Wilson home run today for the A's. Absolutely. That dude is just on fire. But Millsy, yes, your question is correct. You still have it. It's not as much, obviously, because you are playing, in an indoor. But, yeah, man. I mean, it's still, go open the door, in Miami. Go open your back door in your house. You're going to feel it. You know what I'm saying? California Wager in the chat. What up, bro? Good to see you, man. He was all over UTSA. Been on him for a minute. All right, Mets and the Dodgers. Okay. Temperature's not high, but it's 10 o'clock Eastern, right? What is that, 7 p.m. in Los Angeles? Mid-60s. Feels like mid-60s. The humidity's all on the West Coast. It's nice. And you got 7-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. So not like massively great, of just, hey, jump on this game. There's going to be 30 runs scored, right? But for Los Angeles at night, I mean, this is pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So, especially with the wind blowing out and basically right center, solid on both sides, left-handed, right-handed, pull, oppo. Yeah, oppo taco. All right, so this is going to be a fun series, man. Mets the Dodgers, you got good weather out there. All right, so Andrew was talking about hits, runs, and RBIs. Well, let's go through it. And this list is not great. But again, we just don't have many games. All right, you see Kerry Carpenter against Jonathan Cannon, 4 hits, 7 at-bats, 1 walk, 2 home runs. Michael Conforto, he's always on this list, against Pete Blackburn of the Mets, 6 at-bats, 1 hit, it being a home run. Byron Buxton coming back from his injury against Luis Severino, 4 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 home run. Keep going down the list. I mean, there's nothing great. Rafael Devers off Tyler Anderson, 7 at-bats, 3 hits, 1 home run. Shohei Ohtani off Pete Blackburn, all right, 9 at-bats, 4 hits. Take a look at that number right there, all right, with Shohei. to the left. Okay. Plate appearances and at bats. 12 plate appearances, 9 at bats. That means Shohei has 3 walks. All right. That might be a play for you today. Fernando Tatis against Logan Webb. 5 hits off 26 at bats, 1 being a home run. Manny Machado, 13 hits off 35 at bat. You know, Manny Machado, Andrew, might be a play. Brent Rooker might be a play. To answer your question, I think for me, it might be Rafael Devers or Manny Machado. But yeah, you might stay away. It's not great. Let's invert it here. Look at the Padres on this list. Luis Arias, Jake Cronenworth, Jackson Merrill, Gavin Sheets, Xander Bogaerts, Tyler Wade, Elias Diaz. All right. You've got Padres all over this list. Logan Webb. Like all over it, man. No home runs, but you could get a lot of hits out of the Padres today. So pay attention to that. But again, nothing huge on here. Pete Alonso off Dustin May. 2 hits off 3 at bats. Jeff McNeil, 2 hits off of 3 at bats. So there you go. Andrew, Padres team total is 2.5. Yep, that might be your play right there, brother. All right, hitting streaks. This list is dropped. Carlos Santana is your leader at 11 straight games with a hit. Christian Yelich, 8 straight games with a hit. See Pete Alonso up there, 8 straight games with a hit. Cal Raleigh, 7 straight games with a hit. Bo Bichette, 6 straight games with a hit. Josh Bell down there, 5 straight games with a hit. Okay. Believe that's it, my friend. Yep. Oh, Tony. All right, a couple comments here. Jack Caglione. All right. So anybody who's followed us betting college baseball, you remember last year for Florida, dude could throw 95, could hit anything out of the planet, getting called up by the Royals today. He is absolutely mashed in minor leagues. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I can't wait to be bet Big Jack, man. Absolutely, Matty. I said it right there. Yeah, and Millsy, I saw your comment. I'm going against your USC Trojans, and I hate to do it. Great baseball uniforms, but Oregon State was on fire last night. They were on absolute fire. Okay. So, Dustin, definitely betting Jock's home run first game of the show. Hell yes. I'm with you on that. Yes. All right. Jump out of here. Brad, any final thoughts before we do?
Nothing for me, AB, other than this week with all this international football and the Club World Cup upcoming, maybe don't look at any futures. I know a lot of people are asking about the Club World Cup and futures and who's going to win it. Well, honestly, I don't even know, mostly because I don't know who's going to be playing on each individual team. If you don't know who the players are, how are you going to bet it? When you look at the market, it has Real Madrid as the betting favorite. And anybody who watched Real Madrid this season wouldn't be putting them as a betting favorite, nor would they be putting them anywhere near a plus 400 above Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, the winners. So before you put any bets on any futures in the Club World Cup, make sure you know who's actually going to be taking part, who's not going to be on the beach in Dubai.
Beautiful, beautiful work. All right, I'll end it with this. Howie Schwab, crew play of the day. Okay. You have chosen North Carolina, Oklahoma, over 12.5 at 48%. Second place was Wake Forest and Tennessee, over 13.5 at 30%. USC, Oregon State, 12%. Miami, Southern Miss, 10%. So it's gone straight down the list. You are feeling North Carolina and Oklahoma, over 12.5. All right, we'll get out of here. It's Monday. Let's power through Monday the best we can. Remember, we got college baseball starting at 3 p.m. Eastern today, North Carolina and Oklahoma, to see who wins and goes to the Super Regionals and then the College World Series. And then we've got 5 more games, which is insanity. All right, Bradley, well done, my friend. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. As Liddy said, hit like on the way out. Yes, if you're on your phone, grab it, pull it down, hit like, pop it back up. good to go. My man, Big Jeff. Sunny day in Tennessee. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yep. It's nice, man. It's nice. Hey, and Brad, you are like half a mile away from Mims Lumber Indeed. Right here. We're going to give them a shout out. Big Randall is in the chat. Always a good day when you're down the street from the shop, baby. I love it. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. We'll see you live at 3 p.m. Eastern. But until then, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets, and we will see you this afternoon. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!